you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Here it is, almost the end of August.
Yes, hi. How are you?
And school is starting for some of you this week. Some of you went last week.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you will go after Labor Day next week.
I can't believe, when we started these videos, I can't even believe school is like coming back around. It's been such a crazy season with the virus and all the changes and everyone's starting back.
So some of you are actually going back to school. Some of you are learning from home. Some of you are being homeschooled. Everybody's doing something different. There's no wrong way to do school this year.
And it's almost a new adventure for everyone.
It is a new adventure. I hope you're excited about it. I hope you have your supplies and you're looking forward to school starting.
Yeah, I am.
I am too.
Don't have all the supplies yet, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there eventually. It is exciting though.
And I don't have any children at home, but I'm going to buy some school supplies for grandchildren this week.
Well, that sounds like a great thing.
Yeah,
it's interesting even going shopping for school supplies is different this year.
Sure, you got a mask on.
Everything's different.
Everything's different.
It's interesting. In our story, things aren't different. It's like the same old
The
again.
same happens over and over.
There's no
and
different
over
here.
again.
It's just repeating the history.
Yeah, and you would think that children would learn the mistakes that their fathers made and not to do those, but they learn to do them and they do them in their own house.
Yeah, it's a good lesson we all need to learn so that we don't pass these things down into the next generation.
Okay, so we are moving on from Jacob and Esau, who made up last week, to Joseph.
Yeah, which is still Jacob.
Yeah,
I mean, Jacob
Jacob's
is the
children,
dad.
yeah.
And now Jacob, who reunited with his brother Esau, Jacob is now, the head of the household, his household, and he has Rachel and children. And so we have all these children.
We do.
And Leah, and there's all these children.
And if you remember, Jacob and his wife, Rebecca, they played favorites.
Yes, Isaac and Rebecca.
Sure. Isaac
favorites.
played favorites. I'm sorry. Isaac and Rebecca played favorites. And so Isaac loved Esau more than Rebecca loved Isaac.
Yeah, loved Jacob.
Sorry.
So Isaac and Rebecca played favorites with their kids.
And Jacob should have known that, but then Jacob did the same thing with his son Joseph.
So now Jacob has kids, and he's playing favorites.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Because here he has all these sons, and what does he do? He makes Joseph this beautiful coat.
Oh my goodness.
All ornate, just gorgeous. He doesn't make it for any other son, but he makes it for Joseph.
So we have the playing favorites game again is happening. All right, so
nothing good comes from that.
I'll read. Let's read and see what's going on with this family that can't seem to get it right.
Yes.
Jacob lived in the land where his father had stayed, the land of Canaan. This is the account of Jacob's family line. Joseph, a young man of 17, was tending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and he brought their father a bad report about them. Okay, so Joseph is handling.
Yes, Joseph is handling.
Now, Israel loved Joseph. Israel is also a name for Jacob. I'm looking for confirmation from the back row. Israel is also a name for Jacob. Confirmation. It says, now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons.
Yes.
Okay, so Israel in this situation, they're talking about the dad, Jacob. Okay.
Yes.
So Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons because he had been born to him in his old age. And he made an ornate robe for him. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word about him.
So now you see where favoritism comes in and makes trouble.
So Joseph's the youngest. Jacob loves Joseph the most. He's making him special gifts, and all the brothers hate him now.
Yeah.
Oh. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they hated him all the more.
He is not in good graces here.
You don't want your brothers mad at you.
No.
He said to them, listen to this dream I had. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright while your sheaves gathered around mine and bow down to it. I'm not sure what a sheaf is, but I'm imagining like stalks of grain
Yes.
all kind of tied
Tied
together.
around, yes.
So Joseph's stalk is rising,
And everybody
the
else
bundle
is
is rising, and
bowing
everybody's
down.
bowing. That sounds like he's gonna get himself in trouble here.
Yes.
His brothers said to him, "Do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dream and what he had said. Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. "Listen," he said, "I had another dream, and this time the sun and the moon and the 11 stars were bowing down to me." When he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in mind. Oh,
Okay,
interesting.
so
Interesting.
Joseph had these dreams. I really believe God gave him these dreams.
Right.
But should he have shared them with his brothers and said, I'm the Lord over you?
In such a manner, like
Yeah.
there are some ways to put things tactfully.
There are. And there's some things that God tells you that you need to keep to yourself, and just know that in the right
In the
time,
right
God
time.
will allow those
That's
to
right.
happen.
That's right, in the right time. That's
But Joseph
really interesting.
wasn't wise in what he did.
Yeah, that is really interesting. And I like that. I mean, first dream made his brothers mad. The coat made his brothers mad, which he had nothing to do. That was
Right.
his dad. And Jacob should know that playing favorites makes someone mad because it made Esau mad.
Yes.
Who, his
And it separated
Mom.
them for a long time.
right. So he should know this. Now he's doing the same thing to Jacob and to Joseph and causing that, dissension between
Yeah.
the brothers.
Yeah.
But Joseph doesn't pick up on that really.
No. The
Just
thing
keeps
is,
right on
we're going to see
feeding
what
into it.
happens with this. We're going to see
Huh.
how God uses Joseph in a way where his brothers may bow down to him. But it's not because Joseph is so special. It's because God led Joseph.
That's
Okay,
really
so
interesting.
let's see where it goes from here, because we're going to follow Joseph along as a whole series of events happens. But in Genesis 37, now we're going to read.
Yeah, 17b. I didn't tell
17b.
him where that first part was from.
Okay. I heard them say, let's go to Dothan. So he's looking for his brothers. His dad sends him out to look for his brothers.
Okay.
And somebody he stopped said, I heard them say, let's go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. Then they said to him, and then they saw him in the distance, and before he even reached them, they had plotted to kill him.
Oh my.
So-
this is like not just a little bit of someone got some Legos and I didn't. This is
Yeah.
like some
This is pretty
really
serious.
angry, like
Yeah.
more than I can imagine ever happening. Wow.
Here comes the dreamer, they said to each other. Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams. Like, they're going to stop these dreams. We're not going to bow down to him, but we're going to see what happens to
Really
him now.
jealous. Yeah,
Yes.
angry.
But his older brother Reuben heard this, and he tried to rescue him from their hands. Let's not take his life, he said. Don't shed any blood. Throw him into the cistern here in the desert, but don't lay a hand on him. Reuben said this to rescue him from them and take him back to his father. So he has
Oh.
one brother who knows his father loves Joseph, and it'll hurt him to lose Joseph.
Or knows right.
Yes.
This is, no matter how I feel, this is not a correct action to
Right,
take.
right.
Very
So Reuben
interesting.
has a plan to try to save him from the other brothers. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the richly ornamented robe that he was wearing, and they took him and threw him in the cistern. Now the cistern was empty, there was no water in it. As they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. Their camels were loaded with spices, balm, and myrrh, and they were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, what will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother and our own flesh and blood. His brothers agreed. So they're not going to kill him. They say, it doesn't give us anything if we kill him.
Right.
Let's sell him as a slave. So they're going
Wow.
to sell him as a slave. So when the midnight Midianite merchants came by. His brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. And when Reuben returned to the cistern, so Reuben was going back to the cistern to rescue Joseph, he was not there. He tore his clothes. He went back to his brothers and said, "The boy isn't there. Where can I turn now?" And when they got Joseph's robe, they slaughtered a goat and dipped the robe in the blood. So they are plotting to tell their father this story. They took the ornamented robe back to their father and said, "We found this. Examine it to see whether it is your son's robe." He recognized it and said, "It is my son's robe. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces." Then Jacob tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son for many days. So they let their father mourn for him and be so sad, knowing that Joseph was not dead.
This is a story.
It really is.
Wow.
All his sons and daughters came to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "No," he said, "in mourning will I go down to the grave to my son."
Wow.
So his father wept for him. Meanwhile, the Midianites sold Joseph to Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard.
It's very interesting.
It just gets deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, so here you have Joseph, who God's given him these dreams, and they appear like he's going to be in charge at some point, you know, and at least of his family.
Okay.
Right? And so he may not have presented this information in the best fashion, and now he's in a whole lot of trouble.
Yes.
He made his brothers.
But God can still use that, can't he?
Yeah, well, yes, he can.
Well,
God can
so
use everything.
here is Joseph, who thought he was going to be the lord of his brothers and his mother and father. And here he is, a slave in Egypt to Potiphar. What is God going to do to get him to the place that he showed him in his dreams? There's a whole long story that happens here. But remember, maybe you're not in the place that you want to be right now.
Yeah.
Or that you feel God is directing you, but God can still move you into that place. He can still use you where he is. And Joseph is going to be used by God in many ways.
Yeah, that's really neat. Or maybe you're in a place where you're not sure where you're to go with something. You have, you're just not sure where things are going. And instead of just following whatever instinct, maybe you should stop and pray and say, "God, what should I do in this situation?
Yes.
How should I act? How should I respond?"
Yes.
And because I'm wondering if Joseph kept those dreams to himself, if it would not have turned out an easier path to get to where God wanted him to go.
It might have been.
I don't know.
And here's the thing, maybe you're being homeschooled this year and you don't want to be homeschooled this year and you don't understand why that's the best thing for you. However, God may use this time to teach you important things.
And that can be an easy path if you pray and allow him to do in you what what he wants to do, and be accepting of his plan and purpose for this season of your life. Then it can go maybe an easier path. But if you fight it, it might be this, or if you take it the wrong way, he'll still get you to where he wants you to go. It's just maybe a little longer route.
Yes. Or maybe you're going to school and you're nervous about going to school. You're worried about the whole COVID virus and things like that. But maybe God's going to use something at school to lead you down the path that he wants you to go in.
That's right. Being willing to take his path and know that no matter where you are, if you allow him, he can take you to where he wants you to.
That's right.
Just to be submissive.
So that's
to
our
him
prayer for
and
you, is that God will use you in the way that he wants to use you this year. That you'll be open to that.
Yes.
You'll be wise about that.
Yes. Open and wise about what he wants you to do. That's really, I like that. Open and wise.
It's important. It's important.
Yeah, because Joseph, there's more to the story, doesn't there?
There is. We're going to do more next week on Joseph.
I can't wait to share this part with them, because he does become wise about what he does.
Oh, and God uses him.
There's a big change in
There's
that.
a big change.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And the things that Joseph goes through develop him into a great leader, because Joseph is going to become a great leader and he's going to save his family.
Interesting thoughts.
Okay,
Okay, you want to pray and close us?
Yeah.
All right.
Father, thank you for today. Thank you that even in our mistakes, you can use us for great things. And Lord, even as humble little ones, you can use them for great things, Lord.